How you doing?
Alright. Marky, first off, I want to say it is a pleasure to have you here. I am a lifelong Ramones fan, and just having you here is a thrill to me. And I'm sure all these guys are absolutely excited to have you here.
I wish I could have brought Tommy with me, but he's not feeling too well. So,
okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Johnny, Joey, Dee Dee. You know, if they were still around, they would have attended this. They love this stuff. And me and John were big sci-fi collectors. And I wish every day was like this. You know, singing and everybody having a good time.
Now, this is your first visit to Spooky Empire's Mayhem show. Are you having a good time so far?
Like I said, I wish it was like this every day.
Yeah? Yeah. No, and we wish you were here every show. So, I mean, it's great having you here. So,
thank you.
We've got you now for the next 40 minutes. We're going to talk to you. We're going to go through some of the stuff that you've been through in your life, some of the events, some of the bands, some of the great bands that you've been with.
Thank you.
Not only the Ramones, but like I mentioned, you know Richard Hell, Misfits, and Wayne County.
Wayne County, Teenage Head. I did an album with them.
Yeah.
Misfits asked me to play with them for 3 years. I did a 1950s project. I produced the album. And I continued touring the world with my group, Michael Graves, doing 35 Ramone songs. I feel that the songs are too good not to be played. And Michael does it his way, you know, and that's what I wanted, a guy that knew the songs, but to put his own touch on it, you know.
Now, you just got off tour with the band, with Michael,
yeah.
But you're about to go out again with Andrew WK.
Yeah. Michael has his own career. So when he does his thing, Andrew is able to be the front man. Very engaging, he knows how to engage the audience, and he does a good job. And we've done about 150 shows together so far. So we did Russia, China, Russia, Vietnam, who knew, you know? All these places that the Ramones never even dreamt of going to. I mean, you see Rocket to Russia, the album cover, it's a guy on a missile ready to drop on the USSR when it was really Russia. But now, you know, because a lot of countries are very westernized, they appreciate what we do here, you know? So that's really cool how music and movies and the culture has gotten a lot of countries interested in us, in the United States. Politics aside, you know. So, you know, I really think that brings people together.
I agree 100%. Now, I want to talk about some of the stuff that kind of led you up to playing with the Ramones. You came in right before the Road to Ruin album.
Yeah. I was with Dee Dee Ramone, who was a close friend of mine before I joined the band. We all hung out at CBGB's, and I was with Richard Hell before that. We just did the Blank Generation album. You know, we finished the tour with the Clash in England. Richard came back, he didn't want to tour, but I had the itch. I wanted to keep touring. So through the grapevine, Dee Dee told me that Tommy didn't want to tour anymore. And Richard was understandable, because he wanted to produce, you know. So they both wanted me in the group. They asked me, then John asked me, and I wanted to do 3 songs with them, Sheena, I Don't Care, and Blitzkrieg Bob. And that was it. You know, then they gave me a tape, a set. And I had to learn the live set and Road to Ruin, which was 44 songs I had to learn in 2 weeks. So, you know, they already had 3 albums out. And then they wanted to promote Road to Ruin, the newer stuff too, because we were going to record it and present it as a new album. So the first song that I recorded with them was I Want to Be Sedated. So that was pretty cool, you know. And yeah, it was really Dee Dee who got the ball rolling with that, you know.
Now, let's talk about what inspired you to become a musician? I guess as a young man, we were speaking earlier, which I mentioned it was something I read before, and I just wanted to verify it before we spoke about it, but you did verify it. As a young man, you were very active in protesting. You marched on the protest against Bay of Pigs and also the civil rights movement in Washington, D.C. and the Vietnam War.
My parents took me to the Civil Rights March in '63. I was a little boy. We never believed in discrimination. I don't like judging people by their color, their race, their religion. You know, I feel people should just be what they want to be. And you know, a lot of these people were getting fire hoses on them, getting attacked by dogs, just because of their color. So we went to Washington to help protest that. And then then there was, in my opinion, an unjust war in Vietnam, which history has proven that we really didn't belong there. And I went to that. And, you know, I mean, these are things that I was involved in as a little boy. But the thing that really got me going with drumming was February 7th, being a kid, and being asked by my parents to come into the living room to see the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show.
1964.
And yeah, I mean, I was amazed. I mean, I was already listening to music, but when I saw them, I realized they were a band. They looked good together. They could write their own music. It wasn't individuals writing songs for other people. They were able to write their own songs, and that's what really amazed me. So as a unit, they looked great. They looked like a band. So school went out the window, and drumming came in the window, and that was it.
Now, your first band, I guess, would be Dust.
Yeah.
Which is considered to be one of the first U.S. heavy metal bands.
Yeah. Black Sabbath came out with their album in England in '69. Then in '70 they Warner Brothers signed them in 1970, and they put out their first album in America. But there was nothing heavy going on in America, really, except for bands like Mountain, Grand Funk Railroad, bands called Budgie, Blue Cheer, the Stooges. The Stooges to me were more like a garage band, like a garage rock band. And America really didn't have that heavy band yet, you know, the real metal band. So I'm not saying Dust was the first band, but we were one of the first, and we were 16, 17 years old. It was weird when you had to play in a club and you need a guardian to go into the club because they're serving alcohol. And if they allow you to play and somebody comes in there, they can take away their liquor license. So we had to go through that a lot, and the band stopped after 2 albums. I had to get the diploma. I went to night school, and I went to summer school. So I figured if I goofed off for 10 months, I could go to summer school and night school for 2 months and pass. So I had the diploma on the wall just to make my parents happy, but that was one of the reasons why the band broke up, because we were just a little too naive and young to really go out there on our own to, see what the world was like as a band.
Now, we have a microphone set up in the middle of the room here.
My mic.
If anyone wants to come up and ask any questions, please feel free. There's a microphone right there. Just form a line. I see everybody running.
My grandmother used to say to me, "Don't be shy."
Now, as I was mentioning to you earlier, I just recently got XM radio. I came into the modern technology.
Right.
and I just flipping channels. I found a station that's got your show on it.
I have a punk rock show on Sirius XM, 8 o'clock Tuesday nights, and on Saturdays. And that's all I play is punk. Because I believe that the genre, when it came out, radio was very unfriendly to it. They were pushing disco and CBGBs when, Ramones, Blondie, Richard Hell, Johnny Thunders, Talking Heads, you know, the original punk movement in New York. What was happening was disco was being pushed by record labels because they were making them a lot of money. They didn't want to rock the boat with a new genre. So punk was kind of pushed aside and really not taken seriously, and they tried to rename it New Wave, but that had nothing to do with punk. So after a few decades, it was a lot more accepted. So I figured if I had my own radio show, I could play all the punk bands I wanted and help new talent, new bands that would send in their CDs, and if they were good, I'd play them. Because especially these days, it's very hard for a new band to get any kind of attention because of pirating, and there's just so many new groups. But if anybody has a band and they want me to play it and I like it, I will play it. I don't care who they're signed to, if they're not signed. It's just something I want to get back.
Now, going back to Dust, you played in Dust, and then you went from Dust to playing with bands like Wayne County and Richard Hell. Now, clearly, there's a distinct genre there. Are you one of those musicians that sees it as music is music no matter what genre it is, or did you transition into that, or was it something that you wanted to do?
Well, you have to adapt to different styles. Wayne County, Richard Hell, Voidoids, and we did a Blank Generation album. The same company for the Ramones. It was more jazzy. I was always into jazz as a kid too, and blues. And I applied that to Richard Hell's band. And it's evident on the Voidoids album. But to be a good player, you have to listen to everything. You can't just be into one genre of music because it just makes you better. I like Buddy Rich, Ringo Starr. I love Mitch Mitchell from Jimi Hendrix Experience. These are guys that I grew up with. The drummer Phil Spector, the drummer from the Wrecking Crew, Al Blaine. There were a lot of great players, and there still is now a lot of great players. But these are the guys like Keith Moon. These are the guys that I grew up with. And then you integrate your own style and your influences, and then you come up with who you are.
Now, speaking of drawing style, your style is something that has influenced drummers. I mean, to me, I'm a musician, and I mean that you took it to a whole new speed. At the time, people were doing a lot of eighth notes, yeah, and you just amped that up.
I got that because when I was kind of not studying with a teacher, but listening to jazz records, I noticed that a lot of the drummers were playing with their fingers and wrists, not with their arms. So I would just stick to my fingers and wrists, and then I would continue doing that on a drum pad. So when I joined the Ramones, that came a lot easier because of how I developed my grip and what I used to play the song. With Dust, it was mainly a lot of different accents and arm playing. So a lot of this, a lot of that, but to do that is a lot harder. But if you have the will and you know you're going to play in a great band, something comes in you and you say, I got to do it. I want to do it. So that's what I did. I just continued to do it, and the more you do it, it's like an exercise. It becomes easier and easier.
And we have a gentleman who has a question.
Hi, Marky. It's really cool to meet you.
Oh, hi.
I'm, as well as a Ramones fan, I'm also a Misfits fan. I think it was great you came in and played with the Misfits for as long as you did. What kind of adjustments did you have to make as far as coming into that situation and just the overall experience playing with them?
Well, the Misfits copied a lot of the Ramones stuff. So it was easy. I wish that Michael Graves and Danzig and Doyle were on guitar, but it was fun. But for 3 years, it was basically Jerry going 1, 2, 3, go. I mean, that's like Dee Dee going 1, 2, 3, 4, you know. But we had a good time, and after 3 years, it was time to leave. And you know, I produced the 1950s project, and I picked 6 of the songs on it. So I had a good time with them. But it was time to move on. Well, the main reason was that a lot of the kids in the audience were yelling out Ramone songs, and I knew that Jerry could not sing them. And I didn't, you know, I'm not knocking anybody, but I didn't want to be involved with it at that point. But if Michael Graves was heading the group, or Danzig, they would have been able to pull it off. But like I said, it was a good time, and it was just time to move on. So.
Hi.
Hi.
I just watched Rock and Roll High School again last night.
Okay. And what's that about?
Good question. So can you tell us something about that? It just seemed like all you guys were having a great time, really happy, and I like to think of it that way, and like maybe like the Beatles' Help or something. So
Well,
just tell us some stories from that.
Well, my
time.
book's coming out January 15th.
Ooh.
Now, everything that anybody who wanted to know about Rock and Roll High School will be in there.
Ooh.
Was it a great time to make it? Yeah, but behind the scenes, there were a lot of crazy things that were going on. You know, amongst the Ramones. Me, Johnny, Joe, and Dee Dee. There were a lot of crazy things. It will be in the book, but to be in a movie, when I joined the group in the spring of '78, and then being in a movie, we couldn't believe it. We were very grateful and honored to be able to be on the big screen, because it brings more attention to more people, which is what any band wants, and able to get that experience of what it was like being in a movie. I was disappointed that I didn't win the Academy Award. I only have one line in it. But it was an experience, and what I noticed when you make a movie, you sit around and you wait all day until your part comes up. It could be just a 10, 15-minute part, but you're just waiting and waiting. But the result, out of the shoestring budget that we had, it became a cult classic. And we were forever grateful that we were asked to be in the movie, and then PJ Soul's in it, and, you know, it just worked. There was a chemistry amongst the band, the actors, the director, so it worked out well. And then, you know, we see ourselves on a movie screen, you're 10 feet tall, and you go, oh my God. You know, we were like a bunch of aliens that just landed. So the Ramones were very shy. We were shy people. And to see yourself on a movie screen with other people you know, it can be a little weird. But it was fun. And, you know, it's available. Thank you.
Thanks.
My name is Tara. I'm actually from Brooklyn. This is my first
Brooklyn,
time in Orlando. It's so dope to meet you. I wanted to know, how do you feel about the band Death and the Hackney Brothers?
Of who?
Death and the Hackney Brothers.
Dust and the Happy Brothers.
Death.
Death and the Happy Brothers.
Hackney Brothers.
Are they from Brooklyn?
No, it was Detroit.
Oh, it's Detroit. I'm not familiar.
They were considered one of the first. They were the first all African American punk band.
I wasn't familiar with them. Not familiar. What year did they come out?
71, if I'm not mistaken.
71.
72, 71. Well, Underground 71, 70.
Was it punk, metal?
Very much so, and the first ones to do it. 3 brothers.
You gotta turn me on for that. You know? I mean, I'll play them on my radio show if I like them.
Amazing.
Okay.
Netflix has a documentary, a band called Death. Check it out.
Oh, thank you.
What are you talking about?
Excellent documentary.
All right. From Detroit.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marky. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
I just wanted to ask, what were your first impressions of Joey, Johnny, and Dee Dee?
Joey was a very shy guy, very quiet, very, I don't know, he was shy. But once the walls came down, he was very friendly and a warm-hearted guy. Johnny was very, I guess, like a staff sergeant. We needed that, believe me. Between what I was doing and Dee Dee was doing, we needed a guy that had a focus. And he went to military school, so we had these militaristic kind of ways with the Ramones. We had our own role in the band. God forbid if you sat in somebody else's role, we always toured in the band. We weren't into that rock star shit. So Dee Dee was a whirlwind hurricane. The guy was one of the best songwriters I ever met. Constantly fidgeting. We were very hyper people, and Dee Dee was definitely hyper. But when you see videos of the Ramones jumping up and down, twirling their guitars at the same time, that's because we had all this energy. And they used it within the set. But John, again, really was there he was basically an anchor for the group. Between mine and Dee Dee's madness. And Joey was there as the histrionic frontman. When Joey came on stage, he became a different person. Very outward, very extroverted. And that was his calling, you know. So that's my opinion.
Thanks.
And more will be in the book. And Tommy's a very gracious, intelligent guy. He was their manager in the beginning until they met Seymour, Linda Stein and Danny Fields, and then produced some of the best albums. So he was basically kind of like the business guy in the beginning. You need one. You need a guy who's going to have to get in touch with record company people, booking agents, and he was there for that. So he, to me, it's a great guy. Anybody else?
Hi, my name's Elizabeth, and I was just wondering what were some of your favorite horror films?
My favorite what?
Horror films.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Into Terror from Beyond Space, 1958. The alien took from that. I was on a plane once with Sigourney Weaver. I love Alien. So I said, hey, she's sitting right next to me. I said, hey, hi, I know you. I know you. So next thing you know, do you know that they took from it the Terror from Beyond Space and made Alien? Oh, I didn't know that. I only read a script. Okay, so a lot of actors and actresses really don't know where certain things came from. They handed a script, they act, and that's it. But that's where they got Alien from. Okay. Godzilla, sci-fi horror, 1954, with Raymond Burr, Ironsides, Perry Mason. Great movie for the time, excellent. It had the underlines and undertones about, nuclear catastrophes and stuff like that, because obviously when Japan was bombed by the United States, there was a lot of radioactivity that destroyed a lot of people there, Then also I liked The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I like anything Ray Harryhausen does. Anything. I also like The 13 Ghosts. That was pretty cool at the time, I like John Carpenter's The Thing, and I like the original, the first one with James Arnaz as The Thing. He's the guy in Gunsmoke. I can go on and on. I like War of the Worlds. That was great. The first one and the last one, really good. I like Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead kicks ass. I like that a lot. I like, it's an old movie. I like the first Exorcist kicked ass. I'm gonna tell you a story. All right, I know this tape here, but I don't care. I was tripping. I was with a friend of mine, and we went in tripping. And believe me, I said to myself, I'm not going to do this again. Because it really, 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 it scared the shit out of me. I don't get scared. You watch a movie, what's going to happen. But it definitely left something in my brain. It's like the first time I saw Jaws. I wasn't tripping then. But I didn't go in the water for years. And then Jaws 2 comes out. So Jaws 1 was great. Usually the first ones are the best. Alien 2 is great too. Because you saw more aliens. But, the first Alien was great because you hardly saw it. It was so suspenseful. That's what made that movie. And then you saw it, and it was great, Let's see, what else? I mean, for now, those are like the first King Kong. The first King Kong was unbelievable. For the year, for the budget that RKO had to make it, because it was during the Depression, it was unbelievable. And that was the claymation was Willis O'Brien, who made that one. And let's see, what else? Carrie was great. So I mean, we all have our favorites, I mean, I could go on and on. But thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Oh, I just got to ask you one thing. Did anybody here ever see the movie The Prophecy?
Yep.
The pig monster?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty good. For the money, it was pretty good. You know what I mean? With Armand Asante and Robert Foxworth and Talia Shire. I thought that there was some good effects on it, especially when the guy gets his head snipped off on the side of the Jeep by the monster. That was good. Anyway, hi.
Hello.
This is kind of a vanilla question, but what's your favorite Ramone song?
Okay, Tommy's Time, Sheena obviously is great. Rockaway Beach is great. Blitzkrieg Bob is great. I Want to Be Sedated, Rockaway High School, KKK took my baby away. Rockaway Radio, Bon Jovi's a Bitburg, Pet Cemetery, I Believe in Miracles. You know what? Getting to a horror. I thought the song was really good. Did I like the movie? I didn't think it was that good. But, I'm not going to bullshit you. And the second one was worse. Getting back to the songs. Particularly, I liked Rock and Roll Radio because of the lyrics. Because the lyrics really meant what was happening on radio, what was happening at the time. The things all sounded the same. They were pushing stadium rock, light rock, but punk was like, in purgatory, So I like the lyrical content of that song. But my favorite song that I did, I guess, is I Want to Be Sedated in Rockville High School.
Marky, thank you for coming.
It's a pleasure for coming.
My name's Juan. Are you a Kiss fan?
I'm friends with Peter.
Yeah.
My guitarist from Gus produced their first Kiss albums. I know them all, great guys. Peter's a great guy. That's what I can consider Kiss.
I read that.
Ace, Paul, Gene, and Peter.
Yeah.
And what was I going to say? Yeah, I thought they were there around the same time Ramones were there, 73, 74, 74, 75. And my guitar player and producer friend who just passed away, Kenny Kerner, discovered them.
Yeah, he did the first couple records.
Yeah, first two Kiss albums. That was original horror rock. Alice Cooper, Kiss, that we're talking early 70s.
Well, I read that Joey actually went to the first Kiss show when they did the Hotel Diplomat.
Yeah, the Diplomat. He might have. I don't know.
That's all right, but what's the earliest Kiss show you went to?
Coventry. Yeah, it was a club in the Queens, underneath a trestle train track. And they weren't fully developed yet in their makeup, as you can see in early photos.
They were still wearing T-shirts.
But you could tell that they were going to be something. They had the drive, ambition, and they had the great singing songs. So my guitar player had all these tapes, presented it to Neil Bogart, who was head of Casablanca, which he was signed to. Said, Neil, listen to this. Next thing you know, they were signed. And the rest is history.
And they were amazing. I mean, I would have loved to see them those first couple of years, and I know you were there. And you and Ramones, you guys, all the groups from New York ruled the world.
Blondie. You got to remember, New York Dolls had a lot to do with it. And then all the other bands came later. In England, they picked up on the New York scene. LA picked up on the New York scene. And then everyone's, started counting 1, 2, 3, 4, playing faster, and, because of the Ramones.
Exactly.
Well,
thank you. Thank you for mentioning Virgin. That's a great group too.
Yeah. But Kiss, great band.
All right, great talking to you. Thank you. George.
Hey, George.
Yeah, mentioning Peter, Chris. Peter was actually here last year. He was one of our guests. And did very well. He had a great time.
Read his book, it's really good. And Paul Stanley's new book is very good.
Hi, my question is, what's your favorite tour that you've been on? Like, who else was on it, and what were some highlights?
Me and Richard Hell toured the Clash in '77 in England for 5 weeks. That was a lot of fun. It was kind of like the beginning of punk in England. It really started in '76. New York had started in '74. But they all knew about the Ramones. They all knew about Richard Hell. They all would ask questions about the New York scene. And it was very interesting because they're 3,000 miles away, but they knew everything about every band. I was really surprised. But they were great guys. And this is when punk in England, they would spit on you. That would be cool. They called it gobbing. I called it spitting. I didn't know what the fuck it was. So we all got spit on. That meant they liked you. Isn't that nice? So it was the beginning of punk there. I got to know the Clash very well. We came back to New York. Richard didn't want to tour anymore, really. That's when I joined Ramones. So a lot of the good tours with the Ramones were from New York to LA, and then back again, and then in England. And then the first time in Japan was really unbelievable. That was like landing on a whole different planet. It really was. And the US Festival was really cool. In '82, that was the beginning of Apple, and Steve Wolfsack with his new inventions. There were 150,000 people there. We were very grateful to play that because we got to more people. So to say a favorite tour, we liked the Lollapalooza tour, the last tour that we did, because we were with our friends, Rancid, Metallica, I think another band out of Seattle. We all had a good time, And then we did a Escape from New York tour with Debbie Harry, ourselves, and we did a tour with Social Distortion. So that was cool. So we all became friends and respected each other's music.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Marky, I just recently found out that you are really into robots.
Yeah. I always liked Forbidden Planet with Robbie the Robot. He was the star of the show of that movie. But they made replicas of these tin toys in the 50s of a lot of movie robots. And I collect them. I've been collecting them since the 80s. And it's a hobby. It's like getting the original artwork from the Sci-Fi posters of the 50s, which I still collect. I should have brought my Godzilla poster to have it signed, but you got to be careful with the posters, because if they get one grip or it's torn or creased, you're screwed. Thank God they make repros, because they look just as nice, and they're only $35. But yeah, it's a hobby, and I like to build cars. I like to build 50s, 60s cars as a hobby, and then I'll build them, and then I'll drive them for a while, trade it in for something else, rebuild it, just as long as they don't have a computer in it. Something you can build with a carburetor, That's why I love Christine with a car. Anybody else?
Yes, my name's Dominic. I'd like to know, what are some of your favorite newer bands that have come out recently?
What, newer bands?
Yeah.
I like the Gallows from London. Really good band. I like the Loved Ones. They're really good. I like some of the individual solo projects that Rancid is doing. I like Lars Fredrickson's Bastards. He's a friend. I gotta bring that up. He's my Shyamalan. I love the guy. But his stuff is good. I like what Matt Freeman's doing on his own. So, you got to keep your ears open. You'll find new things. That's what I have to do on my radio show. So I'm on top of the heap, presenting new punk stuff. There's a good band. I think they're from Brooklyn, possibly. They're called the Excitements. They're great, really great. Give them a listen.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, you've also been doing some art. I know I saw some at your booth.
Somebody encouraged me to do artwork, and I got all these Sharpies. So you have your day off, so you're sitting around, I said, okay, let me do them on drum heads. So I do them on drum heads, and because I like sci-fi and horror, that was my inspiration. To make robots and stars, galaxies, and futuristic stuff. So I have it at my booth. But I never thought I could do it. If you attempt it, and then you think, oh, it's okay. Then you keep going and going, and you go, that's not bad. At least you give it a shot, you try. So I'm not Van Gogh, I'm not Rembrandt,
but you are Marky Ramone.
Well, that's when it comes to drumming. Hi.
Hi, Marky. Some of my friends had a band back in the 80s called Bauhaus. I do remember them saying that they were influenced by the Ramones, and they were fans of the Ramones. Are there any bands that have come up to you and said, I know you've influenced a lot of bands over the decades, but are there any bands that really surprised you that came up to you and said, wow, we were really influenced by you?
They weren't surprised because we heard it in the music. Green Day, obviously. Rancid guys, the guy in the Misfits. Let's see, who else? Joan Jett. That's obvious. Billy Idol and his band. Glenn Matlock from the Pistols. Clash. I could go on and on. The Buzzcocks, the Queers, bands like Screeching Weasel. They're all over the planet. I just can't remember all the groups, But they put that formula to their style. which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then, you know. Then they put their lyrics to it and their chord downstrokes, if they can do it. And you know, they create their own music. You know, you definitely always are influenced by somebody. You know, I mean, then you incorporate your style to it, like I said before, and hopefully you come up with your own style of music, like the Ramones did, or Richard Hell, or the Sex Pistols, you know, Clash, the Beatles, the Who, the Kinks, you know, all these great bands, Iggy, you know, MC5. So, thanks.
Thank you.
You know, Hollywood likes to make things very dramatic. I recently watched the movie, and obviously you were around at the time. I don't know if you've watched the movie. It's a movie called CBG.
Don't say it. It's so bad. I mean, you know, I wanna say good things about it. I really do, because I lived there. I practically lived there. But it was so bad that I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I always give things a chance, once or twice, but I wouldn't look at it twice. Now, the only good thing in it is the guy who plays Hill.
Alan Rickman.
But it was just, don't spend your money on it. If it's on TV for free, you'll see what I'm talking about. I have a Facebook, obviously I need it. Now, if you see it and you agree with me, please tell me. And if you don't agree with me, please tell me too. But I'm just giving you my honest opinion about this. Anyone else? I will take your word for that. Remember, my grandmother said to me, don't be shy.
Now, Mark, you mentioned that you are up for an award with Kerrang! Magazine.
Yeah, Kerrang! is an English rock magazine. Every time I land in London at Heathrow Airport, I always look for the mags, Q Magazine, Kerrang!, Uncut, all these great, Mojo, all these great English magazines. And Kerrang! wants to give me an award for something. I don't know what. I'll find out when I get there. But it's another, you know, another notch in the belt, you know, along with the Hall of Fame and the Grammys. But you know, the most important thing to me, you know, and being appreciated by not just the older generation, but the new generation that weren't around to see the Ramones because they were too young. And I know if Johnny, Joey, and Dee Dee were alive, they would have been so fucking grateful, you know, to see this, because the Ramones have gotten bigger in the last 20 years. And I'm not a ghoul. I don't believe in perpetuating people's deaths and making money on it. I will play the music though. But, you know, I'll never look up at the sky and go, Johnny, Joey, and Dee Dee are watching me. You know what I mean? That's ostentatious. You know what I mean? I do think of them every day, and the legacy that they left, which is the great music that they made. You know, if it wasn't for them, music definitely would be different. You know, things would be different. They're part of the culture, and there's an old saying, it's better late than never, you know. Anybody else? Remember what my grandmother said?
Mark, I just, you know, like you said, the Ramones have left a legacy that you are carrying, and
Fine.
no, you definitely are. I mean, you were part of that. You're part of that legacy. You're carrying that legacy, and you showed no signs of slowing down whatsoever. I mean, you're getting ready to go to on another world. Yeah, that's huge.
You know, you do the best you can do. You play 35 Ramones songs, and I look at all. I have the largest Ramones video library in the world because I always brought a camera with me. And I thought it'd be a good idea just to watch later on in life. But then people started putting out DVDs, and then I made Raw, and I was involved with the other one, End of the Century. And most of that is my footage. But because of the newer generation that wants to hear these songs, I was getting emails, mail to Warner Brothers, to booking agents, come out and play and play and play. So after I left Misfits, I put the band together and we started touring the world, and it just grew and grew. And I always give my debt to Dee Dee asking me to join the Ramones, Tommy, Joey, and John. And I will continue to play these songs because they're too good not to be played. So.
Marky Ramone, thank you so much for coming to the show and for taking the time and sit up here with me and tell us.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marky Ramone. And please visit MarkyRamone.com for all the Marky information, tour information, recording information, and don't forget his book is coming out in January. Thanks again, Marky.